Okay. So, what I promised was a little live session today at 8 p.m. And as you recognize, usually I don't talk too much in English. This is actually my first live stream in English ever, so please be a little bit kind if I don't find the right words instantly. Today we have a very special guest. I've been working with him on a project, and I think he just joined the chat. Let me see. Is he already online? Somebody's watching. Or not yet. Today we have a very special guest. He has just created a nice online course, and he just texted me. Okay. And I'm planning a series of interviews with experts on certain topics. Matthias is an expert on on management generally, also on self-management, on focus, habits, everything that you need as an entrepreneur, as a as a founder, as a startup CEO, also as a solopreneur maybe. And he is today. He will be here and share some of his experience. Cheers. And I'm just waiting for him to join the chat. Meanwhile, I will share this one on some profiles. Wait a second. Okay. Still waiting. Jawohl. Now he is here, Matthias Reisinger. Okay. Matthias, can you hear me? Ah, yeah, there he is.
There you go.
The master of focus mastery.
Yeah, exactly. Hi, Dominic.
Great, Matthias, to have you here. So, maybe you tell the audience a little bit about yourself, who you are, how you started as an entrepreneur, and what led you to, creating an online course.
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks for doing this with me. I'm always excited to tell my story because I'm really passionate about these topics as well. So my name is Matthias Reisinger. I am one of the founders of an organization that is based in Vienna, but active in actually more than 20 countries worldwide. I've been an entrepreneur for the last 10 years. I started several organizations parallelly. And so, yeah, I have lived a lifestyle that was and is still quite demanding and challenging. And for the longest time, in the beginning of that journey, I felt super overwhelmed, and I didn't really know how to organize myself, and it felt not so great actually. And that's why I was actually looking for solutions to organize myself better, to get on top of the game, and to actually feel better about what I get done and all that. And so that's what led me here and led me to this online course. And I'm excited to share with the people.
Great to hear it. Okay, so what is actually what is your course about actually? Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So essentially, what we decided to do is we focus on three things. The first thing is how to sustainably establish habits. So it can be any habit that you want to introduce into your life. It could be, for example, sports, exercising, eating healthy, stopping to smoke, whatever. How to actually go about it. I'm happy to tell a little bit more about it in more detail later. The second part is the concept called the MIT, the most important task. It actually switches the way that we work 180 degrees. Usually we focus on doing a lot of small stuff, and this is why the big chunks fall through the cracks, so we keep pushing those important projects further. And the MIT, the most important task, actually flip this on the head and make sure that we focus on what's most important. And the third part is what is called getting things done. It's quite an proven and established concept, and it's the best concept that I've found out there for a holistic organizing system for yourself. Everything else that I've tried before was either too simplified, so it didn't really apply to my reality, or a lot of important pieces were missing, so I always fell off the bandwagon. And with getting things done, it was the first time that I actually found a system that really works for me, and it keeps working for the last almost actually more than 10 years. I already studied it while I was studying. So that's a good sign for me that something sticks, and I haven't found anything that is better than that. So I'm happy to share this. And so what I took is I took a lot of these elements that I've picked up along the way, and I found a way that actually they work for me. So everything that I'm sharing is really proven, and I can talk from my own experience, and I've tweaked them, and I've found approaches that sustainably create results for me and help me to be more productive, more balanced, getting those things done that are important to me, and having enough time next to work to actually spend it with the things that I additionally love, like my hobbies and everything. So this is, in a nutshell, this is what the course is about.
And those things you cover in the course, are they of personal importance to you? Like, did you have really difficulties with like organizing yourself in the beginning, or difficulties sleeping, or that kind of stuff? Or do you say this is just something for that you saw in other entrepreneurs, or did you experience that yourself?
Both, really. So me, myself, as an entrepreneur, but also in my job, I work a lot with entrepreneurs. And if you look at it, for example, there is no other group of professionals other than young entrepreneurs that have as many difficulties to sleep as them. So even top executives, managers, and the most demanding jobs, none of these have as many sleep problems as young entrepreneurs. And it's because it's a really stressful, high pace, fast pace environment. And you really need to make sure that you get your product out there. And it's a lot of pressure for yourself, from your investors, from the people around you. And so I need to find something that works for me and that works for this group of people. And this is why I've exactly put those three elements into this course.
Okay, very interesting. And talking about habits, you mentioned habits before. And what we, for some of the people that maybe followed your posts over the last week, we also talked about developing habits, for example, to more easily stick to your New Year's resolutions. What would you say is the most important thing when developing a habit, or is there any special advice you can give?
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned New Year's resolutions, and it's that time of the year now, really, right? So I think you don't have to start in January to establish a new habit, but somehow this fresh start into the year, it's maybe an additional boost, right? I always love new beginnings. I always love the first page of an empty notebook. It's a fresh start, right? And so for me, the new year, it has a bit of that energy. And so you might as well use it, right, if you have the opportunity to. However, if you look at it, 80% of the people who start with a New Year's resolution in the first week of January, they have dropped it latest by the first week of February. So they have given up. They've said, well, I wanted to do more exercising, but I can't do it. It just doesn't work, right? There's a lot of problems why 80% of people don't succeed. I don't think it's because of New Year's resolutions that they don't work, but the thing is that we've never learned how to establish habits. Nobody ever taught us how to do it, right? It just says, well, I'm going to do this now. And then most people actually don't succeed. So we almost assume it's common knowledge or common practice that New Year's resolutions don't work. The way that I look at it is we need to learn how to successfully and sustainably establish new habits. And what I found are like 10 steps and 10 criteria that really worked for me. For the first time since I've applied it, before I failed numerous times and it was highly frustrating. But when I applied those 10 steps, for me, that was a revelation. And so it really shifted the way that I look at establishing new habits. It shifted the way that I looked at sort of introducing change into my life. And now I believe that establishing new habits is really the only, probably one of the very few ways to introduce change into your life. And so because it was so powerful for me, it helped me to, for the first time, really establish a routine to exercise, to eat more healthy, to meditate, to learn new languages. And so for me, it was such a powerful shift that I really wanted to share with other people, because few people know how to go about it. And they start and they fail, and it's super frustrating. And that's why they actually stop trying at some point in time.
Mm-hmm. So they stopped trying. Actually, what are you talking about in this case? Because we talked a lot about entrepreneurs, about young startup founders, or also people who are CEOs who have a lot of pressure on them. Does this also work for normal people, like for well, you and me, we're both entrepreneurs, but for people who say I wanna lose some weight, or I wanna do more sports, or well, you said something about learn new language. Does this work for normal people? Like if you are not really into into entrepreneurial stuff, but just go into your job and then want to improve at your hobbies, for example, or something like that.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely. Like if something works in a really highly demanding, highly stressful environment, usually that's a good sign that it might work if your environment is less demanding or less stressful. But the thing is, everybody really has quite a stressful environment at the moment, right? So you can see that burnout rates are going up. People have more and more problems with stress, so they constantly feel under pressure. So it might not be as extreme as if you're like a young entrepreneur, but usually people can really resonate with that environment. And even if you don't, it doesn't really matter. So the 10 steps are universal, really. They work for everybody. It doesn't really matter what you do or in what area you want to apply it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. So actually, we can recommend this to everyone who is watching, actually.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, because there's one universal law that I would say is the reason why this works. Because willpower is an important factor in this, right? Willpower is like a muscle. So if you start the day and you need to apply a lot of willpower to do something, maybe to work on a difficult project, or to maybe actually do something that you feel resistance to, but you still get yourself to do it, then by the end of the day, that muscle is weak, right? So your willpower is depleted. You don't have any willpower left. This is why a lot of times in the evening, people maybe, if they had a stressful day and they depleted their entire willpower, they eat less healthy, they maybe have a drink too much, and it's more difficult for them to get something done. The good thing about habits is that what we want to do is we want to create a routine so that you actually need no to very little willpower at all. So actually, you don't even run into the problem of depleting your willpower and then not doing your routine. But you created a routine that then doesn't need as much willpower. And this is what's so great about it. It just becomes automatic, right? So for me now, exercising, meditation, certain things that I eat and drink during the day, it's just automatic. It's like brushing your teeth in the morning. You don't need a lot of willpower to do it because it's automatic, right? And so that's really universal. It doesn't matter if you're an artist, it doesn't matter if you're creative, it doesn't matter if you're an entrepreneur or a CEO. The same applies to you. And at the same time, if you train your willpower, it's like a muscle, it's going to get stronger. You can actually then create more habits and stack them on top of each other. And the longer you do them, the more automatic they become, the less willpower you need.
Okay, now I know what you mean, because I'm just thinking of this feeling that when it's snowing outside and I think, oh no, I don't want to go to the gym. So that's exactly the feeling you can fight with this system, right?
Ideally, yeah. And nobody's perfect. Sometimes you actually skip a day. That's fine as well. As long as you work on establishing that habit, it takes a little time, right? So in average, to create a new habit takes around 66 days. If it's a very simple habit, like just drinking a cup of tea in the morning, is less. It might be 30 days. If it's a very complex, something that needs a lot of willpower in the beginning, it may take longer. But after you invested the average 66 days, it becomes more automatic. So it doesn't matter if it snows, it doesn't matter if it rains. You'll miss it if you don't do it, because ultimately what we're doing here is we are creating something that is beneficial to our life. It's improving the quality of our life. I feel much better if I exercise. I feel much better if I eat healthy. I feel much better if I meditate. So I would miss it if I didn't do it. And that's where we want to get, right? But you need to get there. That's the point. And if you drop out before the 66 days, then you lost out and you need to start from scratch. And so the 10 steps that sort of I've put together and that really worked for me, they are made sure to actually get you to the 66 days, and then it's automatic from there.
Okay, that sounds great. So, well, 2 bumps and you're done. Yeah.
Ideally, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Something else that I remember when doing your course, I stumbled upon the sequence about the most important tasks, and this is something we also do in trainings very often with our sales team, just to well, to get people going, or to tell the people that when they try to focus on the most important things, that it works very much easier for their job, or for well, for their business. Maybe you might well, you might tell the audience a little bit about the most important task. What is this? What does it mean? And how can they improve at getting the most important tasks done?
Right, yeah. So we decided to actually have the concept of most important tasks right after the habits part, because most important tasks could already be the first habit that you introduce into your life, right? So you learned how to introduce the habit, and now the most important task could be such a habit that you introduce. Why? Because first of all, it's quite simple. Like the way that it is structured, it's not very complex. It's quite simple, and at the same time, it creates a lot of result. It actually creates a lot of beneficial result for you in your life. So it's not a very complex system that you need to set up for weeks and weeks. You could actually start doing it tomorrow if you wanted to. And as an analogy, we use sort of a metaphor of saying, well, usually what we do is we focus on the small bits. We call them sand in that metaphor. It's emails, it's messages, it's small to-dos, and we do a lot of them, right? And so we all have been there. We all have had these days where we've been in the office the entire day and we felt like we answered 200 emails, but we don't really know what we got done, right? So it's like, but what did I actually get done? What happened other than 200 emails? Did I really move my project further? Did I really move my organization further? Did I really move myself further? Did I get closer to where I really wanted to be? And so on the other side, it's not the sand, it's not the pebbles, but it's actually the big stones that we want to focus on. Those are the most important tasks. Those are the things that, you know, they usually, when you think about them, they make you a little bit uncomfortable. Those are the things that usually get pushed from day to day on the next to-do list. I'm going to do this tomorrow. I'm going to do this tomorrow, because we keep ourselves busy with the sand, with the emails and the messages, and we feel productive because we are doing that. However, those things that are most important, they actually tend to fall through the cracks, or only when it's the last minute, right? It's just before the deadline, and so they hardly ever get done. Now, what we put together is a small structure that really help you to identify the most important tasks and actually help you as well to get them done, right? So that you don't procrastinate them any further, that you actually look every day, what would I do now if I had this time to focus on what's most important, what would get me closer to this goal? What is it? And then how do I actually get this done? How do I break it down? How do I put a big elephant into smaller pieces to actually not be afraid of it and not to procrastinate, and actually make sure that it gets done? So the most important task is a simple concept. It's easily applied. If you learn how to establish a habit, you'll make sure to sustainably actually add it as a skill in your life. And it has a tremendous impact on you. It's probably going to make you more efficient and productive than 80% of people around you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that sounds great, actually, yeah. So there is one last section in the course that is very important. You mentioned it before, the getting things done section. And what interests me most as someone who is very chaotic, are there any tools? Is there any software? Is there something that helps you organize your day, or can you recommend anything?
So just to take a step back, so the getting things done is a concept by David Allen, and he introduced it quite a long time ago. I stumbled upon it the first time more than 10 years ago, and I read his book. And it was the first holistic self-management system that really stuck with me because I felt it was complete. I felt like it's a system that will tell me what to do when I do it. It will remind me what's the most important thing that I need to focus on right now, as often as it needs to, but not more often. And the best thing about it, it actually helps me to get peace of mind. Everything that sort of pops up in my life, that's my personal life or my private life, actually dump it in there. And I know that because of that system, it's going to get to where it needs to be, and I'll take care of it when I can and should. And so that just creates so much clarity and calmness and peace of mind that I'm not constantly distracted while I'm working on something, thinking about, should I do something else? Did I do that? Did that person respond to my email? Did I forget about this? Did I buy that? No, it's in that system. It pops up when it needs to, and that's just a great relief, really. Like it's for me, it was that system that helped me from feeling very overwhelmed and stressed out to quite calm and focused, and actually on top of things. And so, yes, I also love tools. I love gadgets. So there are software recommendations that we have. So, for example, for Mac and Apple products, I use a software that's called OmniFocus. And I developed a lot of different gadgets and tricks and hacks that help me to structure my workflow in the best possible way. And in the course, I will not only run you through the getting things done methodology, but also how did I set up my workspace, right? How did I set up OmniFocus? How did I set up my calendar, my email, and a lot of other tools that actually are fully integrated into each other that work really well for me. And I'm going to share everything because it worked so tremendously well for me that I really want to share it with other people.
that sounds great. Well, actually, I will go over this section again and again because this is something that always bothered me. And yeah, this is very great content that you put into the course. So if anyone from our visitors says, well, I want to be a successful entrepreneur, I want to get things done, I want to be as focused as Matthias, maybe. Then, well, we have put together a special offer for the visitors of this live stream. And yeah, this is will be active until, well, until when did we say? Until next Sunday or something?
Next Sunday, yeah.
So,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, maybe.
So we decided to put together an offer now because it is the new year. It is a blank slate. It's an empty page. It is the best time, in my opinion, to actually look at your own systems, your habits, the way that you manage yourself. I guess 2018 was demanding for a lot of people, and 2019 doesn't look like it's going to be boring. So now this window is really the best time to look at this, right? People are just slowly coming back from the winter holidays. The big rush is going to start in like 2 weeks probably, and then it's sailing from there. And so we decided let's actually give the opportunity to people until the end of next week. So that's Sunday, the 13th of January, and we created a special bonus for I think it's highly reduced. I think it's like 5% of the original course.
Yeah, that's really crazy price.
95% off, but I think you can tell them how they best redeem this bonus if they wanted to.
Yeah, so we made it very easy for you. We created a special link that you just have to click on. We will add this to the comments of this video. Maybe I can just do this right now. We add this link, and I will also add this to the description of the video afterwards. So you just have to click on the link, and then you get a really crazy sales price at about 5% of the original price. Matthias, I just can't believe that you do this discount, actually, because the course is really good. Let me just add this. Just a second. Comment and add this discount. Here you find the discount. Which here is the discount. Okay, it should be shown in the comments right now, and I will add it to the description later. So far, are there any questions? Because Matthias will be online for another 5 minutes, let's say, if there are any questions right now. Otherwise, maybe if you have questions, if you're watching this as a video afterwards, after the live stream, you can just contact him. Matthias, how can we contact you, or how can our visitors contact you?
Well, it's best if they go through my official Facebook page. I think we're gonna share the link as well in the comment section.
We will definitely.
Or they go directly to the website. It's called Matthias Reisinger in like .com. Yeah, and then get in touch if you have any questions.
Okay, let me see. I'll just post this to the comments. And let's just wait a minute for someone who might not be, well, or who is afraid to ask in the first place. So this is the official page as it's posted, and what did we say? The Matthias Reisinger official page. So Reisinger, the official page is this one. Okay, official page for contact. Matthias, any last words that you want to tell our visitors? Anything?
I'm really excited about the course that we put together. For me, it's really condensed information that I put together over the last 15 years of my life, and I'm sharing things that work for me. And I think what's really exciting as well is that I'm here to answer questions if people have any, and if they feel stuck somewhere or they have a specific situation that they might need special advice for. I'm happy to actually share my perspective on this as well and help where I can. So now that we are just starting to roll out this course, it's a good time to get enrolled because now I can focus more time on specific questions. And so, yeah, if anybody has any questions beforehand, please go to the official Facebook page, ask me there, and yeah, I'm excited to actually go through the course with you. And we'll constantly update it and improve it, and you'll have lifetime access to the community that is also building the basis of knowledge together. So I think that's another small add-on that actually is a good reason for getting this the discount code now, signing up for the course, and making 2019 even more successful, but definitely more balanced and healthy and relaxed compared to 2018 and the years before.
Awesome. Really sounds good. One last question from me, maybe. I'm interested in the topic live seminars or live coachings. Do you anything of that, or do you offer live seminars, live coachings, something like that? If someone is interested.
There's so we're experimenting with this because I have a limited amount of time. That's why I'm going to have a limited number of sort of professional coaching opportunities. If you are interested, you'll see that as well on the website. There's a link to it, and I cannot promise that it's going to be there forever because I can only do so much at this point in time. But if you're fast, it's definitely an opportunity to actually get in touch with me for a live coaching. And if you go to the website, you see exactly how it works, how much it costs. If you have any questions, please again, ping me over the Facebook page.
Okay, great, Matthias. Then, well, so far, there is no one who dares to ask a question. Maybe your output was so good, maybe. Yeah, I think so, that you answered everything that could possibly be a question already. So thank you very much for your presence in this live stream. Thank you for being an expert in this, well, entrepreneur show. No, yeah. And well, thanks a lot for joining us today in this stream.
Thank you too, Dominic. Thank you very much. And yeah, and talk to you soon.
Talk to you. Bye. See you.
All right. Bye.